Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun, the show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
On today's episode, somehow, JJK has returned. This is Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo. Welcome, everybody. I don't have any bits for this. It's back. We're covering new Shonen Jump stuff, and we are so under-equipped for this. And the part of the we besides me, Moxie the Yeen, is here. Isekai Sensei-Sama, Brad. Brad, how are you getting along?
We'll make it through this.
That's what... So yes, Jump, Kill Blue is over.
Yeah.
It's getting an anime.
So is Nice Prison, but that's for next week.
I want to play my boy into the ground. Yes, Nice Prison is ending at like 17 chapters.
Is it only 17?
I think it was 17.
Oh, that's too bad.
Don't you give me your false pity.
No, legitimately. I know you liked it. I didn't care for it, but
I understand why it's going. I'm not being like, oh my goodness, what a travesty. And especially you can feel it's like what it's having to stretch to get to where it needs to go. It's not as fun because it's not dawdling as much. Like it's the joys in the dawdle. So
I
good night,
never begrudge people enjoying something unless it like hurts other people.
Except that one time.
So just in the same way that people liked Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm sure someone liked the end of Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know who that is.
I'm sure people did. It's
we're
back.
We're
somehow,
back.
Much like Palpatine, somehow it's back. So yes, there are two openings in Jump, one of which is being filled this week by a Jujutsu Kaisen miniseries that is supposed to run for, it says for 3 volumes worth of chapters, which outside of that it's Jujutsu Kaisen and the conversation we're going to have today, I think that's a cool idea to do for Jump. Jump's big enough, they need stuff in it to do things that are specifically of going, this is a mini-series.
Mm-hmm.
More than a one-shot, but something that's specifically laid out from 3 to 5 volumes.
So I'm happy to hear that it's 3 volumes because I had in my head that it was only going to be 3 chapters.
That's why.
And I figured they would do like 3 60-page
Yeah.
chapters. And then I was like, oh, we're going to have to do a new series again in 4 weeks.
Yeah. No. I mean, we are banking on there being another one. Hopefully only one, because I only have one space for wiggle room.
Our schedule.
No, we're getting one today, because it dropped today, September 7th, 2025, which is our recording time. And we are getting another actual, like, new series next week, which, spoiler alert, I will be not there for. But Brad is getting a special guest to fill in for me while I'm away at a gig.
Tune in and find out who it is.
And also what the new series is, because I don't know. I just know it's coming. So yes, this is Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo. This is a story by the author of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gege Akutami, but this is being arted by a different human. So they drew...
You can tell.
Original JJK, yes, by Yuji Iwasaka, who also arted Cypher Academy, which... If we didn't have that wiggle room that I have to save for Jump putting out things, I think I'd actually put that in that arc that we have coming up. Maybe I'll save that for a rainy day because it's such a weird little outlier.
Somewhere.
It's a little sugar, it's a little spice. In that information, because we're back in Jump, so I get to check out this stuff. This was localized by Andrea McKnight, who also done for things that we know about Astro Royale, Beat in Motion, and for future foreshadowings for important things, Firefly Wedding. And this was lettered by Elena Diaz, which is a name I do not think we've seen yet.
Well, I didn't recognize the translator either, but...
Yeah, I mean, interesting. But a thing that I wanted to know, very interesting, is that Andrea is not the localizer for Jujutsu Kaisen normally. Not the one that got erased, but the follow-up one. This human is neither of these humans. So I just find you'd think if they were doing more Jujutsu Kaisen, you'd see if you could get the same homie who did was doing it
maybe
for you.
Maybe didn't want to.
I mean, maybe I was about to say maybe they weren't available, but yeah, people online were really shitty about it because people online suck. But enough about that. I'm not even going to do my normal bits because this was like an extra honed down summary, which will become more apparent of why in the future. Because I guess disclaimer, Brad and I don't know the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen. We got nowhere near it, and I feel like I'm supposed to know things that happened during it that seem important to what's going on here.
I do know what happens at the end because
I don't.
I'm a glutton for spoilers.
You are.
But I haven't actually read it.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what happens, you know.
But there's a lot of parts here I don't know if it's I'm supposed to know or it's that Jujutsu Kaisen Gege thing where they write as if they're in a bigger universe and they haven't painted all the corners yet. And this is whatever. I'm going to go through my this is an extra Cliff Notes thing, so I apologize. So aliens are here now, I guess, with similar powers to the Jujutsu sorcerers.
It's like some kind of aliens area.
They're going to fight. It's an arena. We super do not know what happened to the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, but I'm sure a lot of shit popped off. We meet one of our 3 tritagonists, Yuka Okotsu.
I think it's the last one.
Whose dying grandpa, who I think is Yuta from Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Yeah, I think so.
Gives her a special ring to protect her, which also may be something important. I don't remember. Also, Maki is her grandmother.
Mm.
Then we meet our second tritagonist, her older brother, Tsurugi.
Maybe.
Who at age 11 is given the ring despite Yuka not wanting to give it up. He's just stronger, but she wants to be stronger than him. We cut away to a man and child playing video games in a scene that only makes sense. That only makes gosh dang sense now that I read the rest of the chapter, but it felt super not needed. It just felt like it was out of nowhere, and then it was gone. And I only going back to one, hey, wait a minute, I know who that is now. But it didn't really, it wasn't meaningful. It was just like, well, that's weird. I mean, maybe more chapters will make it more meaningful, but it was not helpful here. It was just like turning the page and going, what? And then not even before the next page ended, we were back. And I was just like, okay.
This goes into the problems of
we'll get there.
chapter.
Let me finish. I know it's already leaking out my summary, let alone even before we got there. The siblings are sent on a mission to find missing children with our third tritagonist, the alien from before. But you're not supposed to, they don't know that. I mean, we know that, but they don't know that. He's weird and doesn't know things. He's there to check things out. Why they let him on, I don't know, because the school wouldn't know who he was. I don't understand. A bunch of not very good personality building dialogue happens. They investigate and find the back alleys have a curse on them to help trap kids. They see one get kidnapped. Then Tsurugi gets kidnapped because he has no cursed energy. They make a point. It's like, oh, they wouldn't cut anything because then a wizard could get in, a sorcerer could get in. In the dude's lair with Tsurugi, we learn that he's the kid kidnapper to sell them and get out of them, and he wants to get out of the market because Japan's special power sucks now. Also, aliens are real. For real, for real. So it's like, he's like, I'm doing this because did you know that aliens are real? And then Tsurugi's like, no, tinfoil hat man. And he's like, for real, though. And then he describes, it's like, oh, Japan's the point of contact instead of America for alien stuff because we have the special powers because nobody else but Japan has spirit powers, which is... Mostly. But what a bullshit. I didn't know if that was... I don't remember if we ever fully learned that in Jujutsu Kaisen, but what a fucking jingoistic piece of shit thought process.
They specifically talk about the fact that Japanese people have much more intense emotions than everyone else.
That's a lie!
That's why I was like,
everybody's full of emotions. Fuck. That's why it's like I was actively insulted. It's like there is like not even just emotions. There is deep spiritual ritual and what's the word where it's passed down?
Tradition.
Traditions around the world.
I mean, let's be fair. If it was purely based on emotions, it would have been the Italians.
But I think that's bullshit. I think that's some this isn't it's like the curiosity I had in Chainsaw Man where it's like, this is all happening in Japan. What's going on in America? But I guess that's me. I live here, so I'm curious what's going on. But yeah, Japanese children go for more because they can possibly have latent spirit power, so they go for more, but Japan's power sucks now. Because they're like, these big guys, and then they show a bunch of the people from Jujutsu Kaisen that and it's like, well, they're all gone and dead now because it's 70 years later or some shit. I'm rounding up.
They should have gone one more.
So now, nice. So now everything sucks. And it was just like, okay, I guess. The other two do a thing to teleport in and find him. The siblings fight each other because you can so determined to be the strongest.
They literally kicked in the door.
Okay. I was I was space casing at this point. Yuka is determined to be the strongest, but then she gets bodied. Then the two of them together fight the human trafficker, and a bunch of anime bullshit fighting happens. Flashback, we see Tsurugi is close to Grandma Maki, and like her, in that he doesn't really have a lot of curse powers, but he gets stronger through loss. Flash to the fight. The kidnapper is about to talk about his buyer, that it's the aliens, but then the third party member, who is the secret alien, knocks the dude out and reveals himself as the secret alien. Dumb. So I don't know how much of this is that if I had read Jujutsu Kaisen, more of this would have been less bullshit, but like so much of this just felt like there's so much dialogue that they have that is like, oh, Gege's writing, but somebody's doing the art, so we're getting like light novel issues of like, well, you wrote a script for like an anime, but now it needs to be turned into a manga where it's like you're not letting the visuals talk for themselves, so it just kind of is frustratingly full of too much dialogue saying not anything that's particularly interesting but maybe it's like that's the thing. All of my arguments for this can always come back to, or maybe I'm supposed to know more stuff because I read the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, but I didn't.
Okay. I think that I have this figured out.
Okay. Lay it on me.
So, first of all, there is a little bit of this where it's you were supposed to have read the end of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes.
So, to that end, I say anybody who's listening to this and thinking, do I want to start reading this or not? If you have read all of Jujutsu Kaisen and you enjoyed it, you should read this. And that's all this comes down to. If you have not read the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, do not read this. You are not going to get anything meaningful out of it. Now,
do you think they went back for this because it was it was such a big thing and the anime is really, really popular still, even though it's a terrible getting on point and the author had a very we read it on the episode when we did the mag dump on Jujutsu Kaisen, a crash out at the end?
If I had to guess, I would say that they looked at the situation and said, hey, Jujutsu Kaisen is still really popular.
Yes.
The anime is still coming out and people really like it. And people really liked the manga until the end. What if we tried again?
But it's not again, it's more. If it was that we skipped 70 years and there's some this is like you said it and like I'm saying, this is not a getting on point. This was not a good story to get people on.
No.
A bunch of there's so many proper nouns tossed around in a way that it seems like you should know, even more so than Jujutsu Kaisen did back in the day, which at the time I thought was charming because I knew, oh, this will get filled in and this will make more sense in the future. But also it helped that there was intriguing things happening around it then once Jujutsu Kaisen gets going. And the problem here is it's not, and maybe it's just because it's built on the mountain of Jujutsu Kaisen's systems and bullshit. But it was just the fact that it's I didn't get to really none of my time I spent with any of the protagonists. I didn't like any of them particularly that much. The Yuka seems like a character that I would like, of the girl who wants to be stronger and is training, but then she talks about she's not training, but her brother's always training, and then when she gets bodied, she goes, oh, because he's always training, but I still want to be stronger, and it's then train, bitch! You can actively see the situation.
I don't think she's not training. I think she's not training as hard as he is.
Exactly. So it's you're never going to be strong if you're constantly talking about being stronger, and you can see the other guy's training more than you. Then if you want that, you got to train shit or lift weights or get off the pot, get out of the bench, put the weights back cleanly.
But I think
be respectful of the gym.
I think the whole thing here is that this is specifically for fans of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay, and that's why this is a weird episode because I was ready.
Right, I don't think there's anything more to it than that.
I was ready to just say I don't want to cover this because I feel uber unequipped. So it would have just been me railing against a thing that I didn't understand, which I don't think is interesting. So I guess the point that I wanted to do the thing of just we read the first 3 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen. We've seen the first 2 seasons of the anime. We watched Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the movie, in theaters and enjoyed it. We enjoyed all those things we took in, even if your feelings were a little complicated.
I'm still enjoying the anime season 2. As depressing as the last season was.
It's complicated emotions more than it's complicated. It is Jujutsu Kaisen Go series. There's a bunch of fucking shit popping off all the time, but I feel Zero taught me anything is if you can start even in that universe with a fresh story, you can still make it really compelling. Mm-hmm. And I feel Jujutsu Kaisen Zero's story was compelling in a way that this just wasn't. This just was mechanically, outside even the stuff I didn't understand, it was just full of words and so many of them weren't important.
Right. So this is
and that's not even me talking about all the proper nouns. That's the thing of when they do the person, I just glazed over it super hard because it's just None of this was interesting or endearing or like meaningfully character building.
So
it was just a lot of really confusing back and forth, and I didn't like. It's like, is this Gege's writing? Is this the localizer not having a lot of time or experience with the setting? Like, it was just very like not pleasant to take in as a piece of media.
This is the second part, which is when I say if you're a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, you should read this.
Yes.
Just because it's more Jujutsu Kaisen. But I wanted to do this episode because even knowing all kinds of stuff about the end, I read this and I said, this is a mess.
Right?
This is a mess of a chapter, and I don't understand what they were thinking when they let this go through.
AVGN, what are they thinking?
The thing is, first of all, the pacing. Horrible. Terrible.
I felt your thing where you're like, because like I'm turning pages like, when am I in time? Like the fact that it's like that cut to the kidnapper guy for like a page and a half, and then back, and I'm like, who was that?
But even
what was that? They have a conversation about kids having screen time or not, but it's here and gone so quickly that it's like, why did you put this here?
Right. But then there's flashbacks in there that are like too short and don't actually give you any information, which is the point of a flashback. And then they spend like 8 pages walking around the back alleys.
Yes.
Just like talking about brother-sister relationships and the world and stuff. And I'm just going, what
Who
are
these?
doing?
Like, slow down.
It's both too fast and too slow.
It's going fast, but nothing's happening.
Right. So I'm just looking at this and I'm going, we have to talk about this because this should be a pillar stone first chapter. This should be the thing to go, hey, we screwed up the end of this series, but we're going to make it right for all the fans, and we're going to do this new thing. It's going to give you what you liked about the old thing.
Doesn't have to draw the art anymore, so some of the burden is lifted from them so they can focus on the story more, but that just made them write more words and not rely on the art, because it seems like they just want to write a novel and not write another manga.
And then
even though it's specifically with childs of characters that already existed.
It just doesn't work. And it's really unfortunate because, I mean, it looks pretty good. Now, I do want to say the art is nothing special at all, but it is extremely competent.
Yes, I would say.
So it's obvious,
it's reminiscent of their style. Yeah. I would. This is a step above workmanlike, but like, I'd have to compare it directly to the old Jujutsu Kaisen chapters because I feel like that had art that like just popped in my brain more, but I could also just be totally making that shit up.
It is aping the Jujutsu Kaisen style without the substance of it.
Did anything funny happen this chapter?
I mean, sort of. The stuff with her relationship with her brother, they're trying to play that off for laughs. I didn't find it funny. That feels
so not Jujutsu Kaisen's sense of humor, though.
Right.
I mean, I know you've only seen it via, I guess you read some of the chapters, because it's like, the manga, I guess I say that. The anime has really funny moments and its tone and its thing, but like I guess the manga has jokes, but you don't really get a full sense of the comedy chops, the humor vibes until like way later. Even though I guess we got it in bits and pieces.
The funniest part of this whole thing, and it wasn't even really that funny, was when they bust in to rescue the brother.
Yeah. And stop the child kidnapper.
She immediately starts fighting her brother.
Yeah, she immediately challenges him and then gets, like, literally a panel later gets bodied.
Right. She gets hit really hard and she's, like, crying, like, oh, I'm still not strong enough. And then the next panel, she pops up and she's like, we're going to take you down. And everybody's like, what the hell?
And also it's like, I have this weird, like, claw fighting style thing. And it's like, I don't know what this is.
Right.
And then it's like, the other guy's like, I have a sword. And then they do a big thing where it's like, oh, why is it on fire? It's like, oh, there's a special thing when he takes it out of the scabbard, it lights. And it's like, what manga is this? Like, this is not a Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, usually it's a lot more, like, cerebral.
That part is like, okay, whatever.
Like, that's why
do whatever you want with powers.
That entire fight feels like a very just, like, I don't want to write fights anymore. Do really, like, the basic shonen things, because it's like, a fight occurs over many pages, but, like, nothing happens. Mm-hmm. Like, nothing, it's just, one does some moves, the other does some moves. The guy kind of dodges, reacts, whatever, and then, like, the sword catches fire, and then they do their moves again, slightly different, more, and then the fight's kind of over. But also, the small spoiler-esque, are aliens at all involved in the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen, or is this literally...
Not as far as I know.
Palpatine has arrived?
I think they just introduced it.
There's one manga that I can think of that had gone on for a long time and introduced aliens that it was the most just like, yeah, cool, whatever, which is in JoJo Part 6 when Earth, Wind, and Fire shows up and then disappears just as quickly and you go, what the fuck? What
how
the
about
fuck was that?
the end of Naruto where suddenly the big bad is actually, it was an alien the whole time.
But was that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it was awful. I
was saying, the JoJo thing, it's fun because it just adds to the what the fuck nature of JoJo, especially Part 4, which is already full of like weird, strange things. And it's like, they're like, he's an alien. But I can't think of it. There's like very rare times, unless it's like signposting it, that aliens show up all of a sudden to increase, like, we have to, how do we, okay, I lied. But admittedly, I was trained for it because I only got Dragon Ball Z in America first. Because I was like, wait a minute, Raditz is an alien, and he showed up randomly after hundreds of chapters. But it's like, but I didn't start there. So it wasn't an ass pull to me. It's where it started to me, and that's my own special position. I'm very aware.
You can, it's not that you can't do suddenly aliens.
But it usually feels cheap when you do that. As they're like, I don't know where to go, I'll go to space. And sometimes that can feel like cheap, especially when we can't leave the country.
I don't think that that's particularly what's happening here.
No, but it's still irritating.
But it does just feel weird.
Where it's just like we open in the first, like, I think it would have been more interesting if we didn't know he was an alien, and that when the guy was like, there's aliens, and the brother's like, what the fuck? And then when he's revealed to be like, it would be interesting to the reader because we weren't already told that the aliens are what they're doing, because it makes like...
Why don't they just ask us to edit for them? Like...
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, just so much, like, I don't know. Come into Discord if you know things, like, talk to us or agree with us or don't read this. Just don't read this, actually. Like, I don't know. I might poke my head into chapter 2 just to know if it continues to kind of structurally shit the bed.
I think...
Like, I'm not going to read all of it. I know I'm not going to read it. Like, it's literally just, like, my own reload on it just to be like, you good?
I really think...
Was this just like was this a freshman 15? Did you drink too much and this is what you wanted to do? Like, because I don't get the sense that it's going to stop, but I don't know that.
I really think the people who read Jujutsu Kaisen can read this and get something out of it. But that's not us, so...
I'm struck... In the grand way my brain works, I'm struck with a very old line, which I guess was just from political news, but I'm remembering being taken out into a very old Auto-Tune the News back when that's when it was called. Of some talking about some politician and them going, the people who like her are still going to like her, and the people who have doubts about her are still going to have the same doubts about her. And that's what I feel like right now with the Jujutsu Kaisen. It's like, I guess if you liked still...
No,
you're right. This is a mess.
It's
a different mess in the way that we've experienced the mess that is Jujutsu Kaisen.
When I say... Jujutsu Kaisen fans will get something out of this, I don't mean this is good and you know everyone will like it and everything. No, like this, you will get something out of this in the same way that, like, if you're a fan of something and you just get more of that thing, you will like it.
Yeah, I guess, or you'll get a little catnip of like, oh, here's what happened in the future. Yeah, no, I can see that. Where the timeline got moved. This
is not a good chapter. It's not a good first chapter. It's not a good any kind of chapter. But it's also, it's not trash. It's just not good.
We gotta talk about what trash means, but whatever. It's just not. The wheels are coming off. The front fell off.
Listen, we're
talking. Say your thing, and then we're talking in cycle.
There's a cohesive story, and the art isn't terrible. So I guess it's not trash.
I think cohesive's a strong word. I guess I made
it goes
a summary.
From one point to another.
I guess. Okay. Thoughts and feelings.
I'm gonna say I think good, which
wow, that's too much.
It's the bottom level of you can get something out of this. Good to fine. I'll say good to fine.
Do you want to go good if fan, fine if not?
Yeah.
Okay, because that feels more on point.
Yeah, that's a good place for it.
How do you feel?
I have to go below fine.
You have to. You had a bad time.
What do we call that?
There's bad, there's even worse, and then there's the joke one, but also you can just make them up.
Well, I'm gonna go for bad because like it didn't hurt me to read this, but I did not.
It wasn't
have a
insulting because sometimes one that's like a mess that has some gem in it is just like, why are you like this? You could be better, and this is not the sensation I have here. Like, I think this is fine. aggressively fine, derogatory. I feel this is bad. I was very just like, I did message you after I read it. I'm like, I don't know if I want to cover this because it's just going to be, I don't know how much I'm missing from not knowing things, but also just like,
So,
I bounced off of it super hard while reading it.
What did I
summarizing
say?
it.
I replied. So I said I'll read it, and then I'll let you know if we should cover it. I'm 14 pages in, and I think we need to cover this,
I know.
but not because it's good.
There was something here, and also if we miss something that was in Jump, because I know, we don't cover the one shots because we don't get them, and that would be a nightmare, especially that time where it was like one every week, and I'm like, no, I have a life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was mostly just I didn't want the hole in it in the saying we were going to cover everything, and then you talked me down/up to do it then. So yeah, no.
I think it's important to talk about this because I feel like this is a mistake that the editorial team has made.
Yep.
And I don't know where in the process things got screwed up, but something got screwed up. Somebody wasn't paying attention to something.
Usually when somebody has a what's the word for it when you're like playing the concert in the same spot for a while in like Vegas or something, a residency. Usually when a residency in Vegas, you're not doing well in life. Usually I remember learning it's like Bruno Mars did this a lot because he has a terrible gambling problem, so he has to make that money back, or you have to some way you're rebuilding yourself. And it's like, that's what this is. This is a residency. This is not a series in Shonen Jump. This is a residency.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because it's specifically 3 volumes, and I wouldn't buy it. I'm barely going. I'm literally only poking my head in the second chapter just to see if the wheels are still off in the same way or not. But I have zero intention or desire to truly read any more of it. Unless somehow chapter 2 is the most amazing 180 that has ever been in manga. And
so we're not buying this.
No. I'm barely buying it as a thing that's going to make it 3 volumes. Will this be more coherent than Nice Prison, which just needed to be laid into the ground? Or Star of Beethoven?
So before we wrap things up.
Yes.
Because this episode has been shorter.
Is it?
We might be under half an hour here.
That's like the old times.
I'm going to go ahead and plug our bonus episode that will be coming out this week on our Patreon.
About my Jujutsu.
Where all our Patreon members will get this. Not the free members, but all the tiers.
$1.
Yeah. So if you haven't got enough from this, you can go on our Patreon. Hey, just join for a month. You can pay $1, get the bonus episode, and then
unsubscribe instantly. Not have to pay another $1.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess to some degree, apologies to Jujutsu Kaisen fans, but also
that we technically are, but aren't. Apologies to Jujutsu Kaisen manga fans.
Yeah, but also like I'm not apologizing because this just has too many.
I'm sorry,
issues.
Our normal listeners, that we had such a down episode on a thing that I didn't want to beat up as much as I did, but I did still because it felt somewhat justified in how much it was it was a mess.
Yeah,
it was a mess.
All right.
Brad, exercise this curse.
Yeah, right. Well, as always, we need to thank Square Mart for partnering with us. Square Mart's a retailer of Japanese snacks, drinks, toys, and merch. All kinds of cool stuff you can't get outside Japan. Our listeners can click the link in the description or use code APR15 at checkout to get 15% off their first order. We do want to hear from you, even on this episode.
Sorry.
So check out our social media links on our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com. The best place to come chat with us is our Discord. As I mentioned, we do have our Patreon where you can get, as I mentioned, bonus episodes. There's a bunch up there. So if you do join, you can go and listen to the old ones. And you also get to vote on what we cover on heroin addiction, as well as getting the high quality stereo version of the podcast early. And as there will be a new episode next week, that means you can get the high quality stereo version the day the manga comes out on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brad's insane. Bless this man.
But of course, we have to shout out our patrons. They are the lifeblood of this podcast. That might be a bit strong,
That's
but
the
whatever.
Cursed energy that runs through. Wait, no, not like that. But it's good. It's good. It's like chakra, but it's called cursed energy because it's whatever.
Anyway, first and foremost, at our noble tier, we have our count imaginary numeral.
You do this and you trick me up. I'm ready for cake, so I'm giving the valiant one in my brain.
How are you not ready for me to
I know, I'm worried about it. Now I'm paranoid. I have to think really hard to keep the sounds in my head, or Jurassic Park just comes out of my mouth.
Just use Jurassic Park.
No! Ba 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 ba. I'll give you some different Williams then.
Also at our noble tier, we have our marquee, Sir Cake Dwarf. Was that 20th Century Fox?
I don't know what that was.
Or is that Universal? I forget.
I don't remember. It was just like a celebratory noise.
At our reincarnated tier, we've got Moon. And last, and certainly not least, at our commoner tier, we've got Last Man on Earth, Rena, and Laura Carroll. So thank you so much to all our patrons.
Thank you, Brad, for that. Thank you, all of our patrons. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure you listen to all of the podcasts on our feed. And, Brad, I don't know if anybody will understand this episode. I think they need to listen to all the other episodes of Shonen Jumping the Gun, and then also Shonen Jumping the Gun 0 from the old podcast, if they want to truly appreciate and understand all of the lore that happened in this episode.
On today's episode, inexplicably, it's more Jujutsu Kaisen.
No, what's the Star Wars? Somehow,
Jujutsu Kaisen
is back.
returned.
It's returned.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Moxie the Yeen.
I don't have any bits.
Isekai Sensei-Sama Brad.
Yeah.
We're here. Yeah, that works.
I know. I was like, I'm not like, this is the best one. I'm like, It's like, I already did the domain expansion bit in Mag Dump, so as much as it's fun to do that.